great day to be a Bulldog, being Mountain West champions. Thought it was a great day. We had great support from the Red Wave. Really inspired our players to go out there and see the crowd not only as full as it was, but how enthusiastic they were. I thought it was a great tribute to the military for our Military Appreciation Day, and I think our kids got inspired and played well because of it. I'd like to also encourage our Red Wave to jump on board no matter what bowl game we go to get tickets for that, and I think we're having a ticket drive already starting today for next year, and we're going to have a very strong nucleus coming back next year, and hopefully you know, our Red Wave fan have been inspired by how our guys play, and we're going to have a terrific 2013, so hopefully they'll jump on board for that. With that, I'll open up to any questions.
Coach, did you know immediately that Derek was going to make that announcement, or?
I didn't know he was going to make the announcement. You know, we had talked earlier that he planned on coming back. You know, whether it was them, we just said, hey, we'll talk about it after the season. We talked briefly. You know, we're going to go ahead and put his paperwork in. I think it just makes sense. When we were at A&M, we had, you know, multiple guys. You need to know where you're at, and we'll do that. But Derek has every intention of coming back. I like his goals. He wants to be considered the best ever here. And to me, the mark of a truly great quarterback is how do you lead your team to a championship? And he's done that once, and he's got a chance to do it twice.
How much does that, you think, help recruiting, you know, as you go forward? You know, you guys could be in line for a big season with Derek coming back.
I think it's huge. You know, I think that guys want to go where they can have success. And we've demonstrated this year with Derek leading us that we've had pretty good success this year with the guys we have returning. I think it only bodes well for the future. So we ought to be able to capitalize this in recruiting.
Speaking of recruiting, I already read your name attached to who knows how many job openings and stuff like that. How do you push that aside, or how do you handle that, especially in this important recruiting period, even though, you know, nothing?
It's easy. My name was not mentioned in this job, and yet I'm here. You know, all that rumor stuff is rumors and conjecture. It's the time of year for all that stuff. If you guys all decided, you know, who the head coach would be, I wouldn't be here right now. You drive on with the task at hand, and that is, right now we don't know who we're playing in a bowl game, so our big time focus on recruiting. And then once we find out, we'll focus in on the logistics for the trip, and then, you know, getting a plan for that.
Is that the same answer you give recruits to?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we absolutely plan on playing great in a bowl game, and, you know, all that rumor stuff, don't worry about it. That stuff you can't control.
As far as assistants, you know, it's also that time of year when people start plugging from other programs. You know, how, I guess, concerned are you that you might be losing some of these?
Well, you always have concern. It's absolutely a reflection of how our guys on the field play, though. All of our coaches know that. You know, we don't make any plays. But I think we've got a terrific staff. I think we've got as good of a coaching staff as there is in the country. And when people look at what our guys and our staff have done, I mean, if people want a turnaround, they start looking at assistants and what their effect was. At the same time, I think we've got a great work environment here. I think our guys love coaching our players. We're going to do everything we can to keep those guys.
In hindsight, how easy or how difficult was it when you were assembling the staff and getting these guys to come in? What was that pitch back then?
Well, it's always a little bit more difficult when you're pitching a dream, when you're pitching an idea as opposed to something that has some tangible evidence. And the thing that I think I was fortunate in was I had a decent pool to work with so that I could hire some quality guys. Being an assistant for as long as I've been, I've run across a lot of different guys. And when I kind of pitched where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do, I was very fortunate in getting guys that for the most part, I had very close connections with for a long, long time. And then met some other guys like Tim McDonald and Joe Wade who fit what we were looking for. And so, you know, I think everybody enjoys working here. They've obviously done a great job, and hopefully we'll continue to be able to keep them here.
You know, when you go out recruiting, it's obvious that Robbie Rouse was your franchise. You said that all season long. Do you feel like you got somebody in the cupboard right now, or do you feel like you have to go out and find an impact running back?
Well, I think every year you have to go and look for running backs. That's obviously a high-profile position like quarterback. It's one, though, that durability is extremely important. You know, when you're carrying the ball as much as we are, we were very fortunate that Robbie I mean, his entire career. I mean, that's a nice testament to him because those guys take shots. We really like the guys that are in-house coming back. You know, I think Martez Waller did some really good things. His future is really, really bright. You know, we signed Josh Kazada. He transferred in. I think he's going to really be an impact player for us a year from now. And T.J. Thomas had a really good year on you know, scout team as a you know, redshirt guy. But having said that, we're going to continue to sign more guys. You know, I think we probably have 4 or 5 guys at running back on scholarship every year.
Do you have a number, how many players you anticipate signing? Because I know you were saying you were...
Yeah, I would like to sign 28. If we sign 28, we still won't get to 85. So.
Now, you had some recruits that you didn't sign last year, so do you have those scholarships still available, or like last
Well, what
year?
you can do is if someone comes in midterm, you can push them back into last year's recruiting class. And again, part of our thought process was let's not make a mistake and sign a guy where it's a 4 or 5 year mistake if we didn't feel really, really good about that guy. And so you can sign some guys at mid-year and they can go back to last year's number, you know, and that's why we could sign over 25 this year depending on where we push guys.
How much different is it going from, you know, trying to rush through the recruiting process to having had...
Oh, it's huge. You know, you get a chance to develop relationships with guys starting from last spring, have people on campus. The other big thing is, again, is that tangible evidence. They've seen the product on the field. They've seen the results of that product on the field. It's a much easier sell than, hey, you know, Fresno State's won, but we're new, and nobody knows whether you can do it or not. You know, it's kind of like our fans this year. You know, I think there was a good buzz, a good excitement early, but you know, most people, it's going to be wait and see until there's evidence. And I think recruits are the same way. But our guys do a great job of getting out and, you know, developing relationships with coaches, with parents, you know, all the people in the decision makers process that they're going to consult with. And I like where our recruiting efforts are right now.
Usually it's tough to beat up those Pac-12 teams. How much will this conference championship kind of ease that?
Well, I think, you know, not just on the West Coast, but nationally, you know, kids turn on ESPN and they're going to show the BCS conferences, not just the Pac-12. I know from a lot of high school coaches' perspective, they look at, hey, I sent my kid to a BCS conference as a feather in their cap. And so there's some of that you have to overcome. But I think especially here in the Valley where kids are close to Fresno State, obviously that's a factor, but I think they listen a little bit harder when Fresno State, you know, puts a push on them. And we're going to look very, very hard at the kids here in the Valley because they grow up around Bulldog football. And when they can see, you know, a product that competes for championships, they're going to look at our schedule and see the BCS teams that we're going to play in non-conference games and, you know, see the success that we've had and that we're continuing to build on. I think we can, you know, have a product to push to them that they see as very desirable.
What was the highlight for you Saturday?
It wasn't getting the grape dumped on me. It's probably seeing our players' faces on the field with the hats with just joy. You know, they were so happy to realize, you know, their goals and to see them out there celebrating, to see them in the locker room celebrating, just really made me feel good.
Did you feel the energy difference in the stands and the crowd and the support on Saturday?
I mean, every home game has been really, really good, but I thought this one was probably, you know, the highest. And you know, I don't know if it was just because of the numbers, but there was a great energy. I thought the day weather-wise was perfect. I think that you know, the flyover, having your 4 honorary captains. I mean, I think everything that went into the day created a really nice buzz, and clearly our players fed off of that. They have every week, but this week especially.
That kind of gets you thinking towards how good it could be every game next year?
Oh, absolutely. If we can continue to have the Red Wave show up like that and have that kind of an impact. They were loud. I mean, they made it very tough on Air Force to call signals at the line of scrimmage and make checks. They had to call timeouts at times because they couldn't hear. That makes for a great home field advantage.
Do your goals change next year now that you know this team is capable of a conference championship? You mentioned potential Heisman for Derek, maybe a BCS game.
Well, I think every year you look at different things. Our number one goal every single year is going to be a conference championship. As you go through spring and summer, you realize that hey, there's other things beyond that maybe we're going to be capable for, and you want to set those goals, but you never lose sight of the number one goal being winning the conference championship. And I think we'll have a team coming back next year that clearly will have that as a goal, and then beyond that, there'll probably be some more that we'll talk with the team.
You can only have Air Force here every other year, but do you think the military appreciation thing, the way it went off, is something you'd like to do every year?
Absolutely. I think, we have so many things to be thankful for here, not just in the Valley, but in the country, because of sacrifices that military personnel make. And whether we're playing the Air Force Academy or Navy or Army to come out here, but we can honor our military no matter who we play. And with Lemoore not being very far, there's some Air Force bases not too far from here. Anytime I think you have an opportunity to thank and honor those who sacrifice and serve, I think it'd be great for the Valley to do that.
You'll be winning as first-year coach in Fresno State history. What are your thoughts on that when you have that title?
I mean, it's nice to hear, I guess, but I mean, it's what our guys did. I mean, it's what our coaching staff did. I just happened to be here and watch it. It was kind of fun.
Where are you going to keep the trophy?
I don't know, John.
Put it up in the lobby.
Okay, up in our football lobby.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I think it's being paraded around town right now as we speak. But yeah, I think it'll be up there. We have some long-term plans, for the building that maybe we'll have a little bit more permanent spot for things like that. But it'll be up there where when our recruits come in, they can definitely see that in the oil can.
How much are you rooting for the Vegas Bowl scenario?
I think that would be nice, but no matter what bowl we go to, it's going to be a great reward for our players and our coaches and their families. I think there's an advantage, the Vegas Bowl, for our fan base and our players' families, and that would be nice. But there's not any bad bowls. I won't tell you the quote. Well, maybe. An old athletic director of mine told our staff, "Hey guys, there's no bowls or no bad beers, so enjoy it. Enjoy whichever one we have, and it's things you don't have control over. So whether we're going to Hawaii, whether we're going to Vegas, or anywhere else, we're gonna have a great time and play a great opponent and have a great week."